Hailey Bieber abriu o jogo e falou abertamente não só sobre o casamento dela com o Justin Bieber, mas também todo o drama envolvendo Selena Gomez.
You just know it's gonna happen. It still happens to this day. You're talking about something that was 2 years ago now, almost 3, and it's something that's, if I was to go live on Instagram right now, it would still be happening, probably less, which is nice, but you just reach a point where you're just like, you have to just like ignore it and be like, okay.
Ela falou com detalhes sobre momentos polêmicos dessa relação e ainda quebrou o silêncio sobre as alegações de que ela teria ficado com o Justin na época que ele ainda estava com a Selena Gomez. E ainda mandou um recado pros fãs da Selena. Eu sou o Rivernaut e eu trouxe tudo isso pra vocês e eu legendei tudinho pra ficar mais fácil pra todo mundo poder entender. E a gente vai ver tudo isso no vídeo de hoje. Mas antes, deixa eu pedir pra vocês deixarem um like nesse vídeo. É muito importante pra canais pequenos como esse receberem esse like, pra que o YouTube promova esse vídeo pra mais pessoas. Veja aí também se você já é inscrito com o sininho ativado pra você não perder nenhuma notificação e se manter atualizado sobre cultura pop, o mundo das celebridades e dos influenciadores. E se você é novo aqui, seja muito bem-vindo. Prazer, eu sou o Rivernaut e aqui a notícia não para. Tem vídeo todos os dias, então não perde tempo, já se inscreve aí. Agora, sem mais enrolação, vamos direto pro vídeo. Na entrevista, a apresentadora já chega perguntando como que o casamento da Hailey com o Justin impactou na identidade da Hailey. Dá só uma olhada no que ela teve a dizer.
How has being married to someone with that level of fame impacted your identity?
Where do I start? Well, I think even for starters, even me talking about him or talking about our relationship, people will take that and be like, all she ever talks about is her relationship with him. And even something like that, I'm just like, well, we are married and he's a huge part of my life, and obviously people are very interested in like our life together, and he is a humongous public figure, so it's like it's a little bit unavoidable at times, and I do try to, you know, have my own thing, but it's like our lives are completely meshed together, so I don't know. I'm like, what do you want from me? Like, of course people are gonna ask me about it, they're gonna ask him about it. Like, I just don't see how that's like avoidable, as sometimes it is because it's just not necessary to talk about, but like even in a situation like this, yeah, we're married, I have his last name, like I don't know how I'm supposed to avoid like talking about my life, like that's my life.
Depois disso, a gente consegue ter um pouquinho da perspectiva da Hailey do porquê que ela acha que a internet detestou tanto o noivado dela com o Justin Bieber. Olha só o que ela disse.
Your point of view, can you explain why the internet was so angry over your engagement to Justin?
First of all, I think one thing is that we're both really young. I think honestly that's for starters, which I totally understand. When we got engaged, I was 21 and he was 24. Yeah, 24 and 21. I personally never thought I was gonna get married that young. Like, I always thought I would be maybe getting married now, and I'm 25 now, and I still think I'm really young. I think the timing was obviously very rapid and very fast, which now being 4 years past that, looking back on it, I totally get it. I'm like, yeah, that seemed really drastic and really crazy but that was what we felt was a decision between the two of us, and it felt correct for the two of us at the time, and clearly we were right because here we are 4 years later. And I think just given the timeline of like where he was at before we got back together and what was going on, and there was just a lot happening.
Yeah.
But I will say too, like, the only people that really know the truth of the situation and what the timeline really was and how it happened and how it went down are like me and him. Perception is a really tricky thing because when you're watching something from the outside, you can see it one way when it may not really be the reality of what happened behind closed doors. And that's a big challenge, I think, of being somebody who is in the spotlight or being famous, is that I know how we got to where we got, period. Like, I just know how it happened. I was there, and I was living it every day. So there's just yeah, there's a lot that I can understand why people were so like, what is going on? Like, this seems crazy.
Daí a gente chega na pergunta que todo mundo quer saber. A Hailey falou abertamente sobre esses tais rumores dela ter se envolvido com o Justin quando ele ainda estava com a Selena Gomez. Dá uma olhada no que ela disse.
So, I guess my question is, Hailey, were you ever with Justin romantically at the same time as her?
No. Not one time. When him and I started hanging out, like, okay, let's just put it this way. When him and I ever started, like, hooking up or, like, anything of that sort, he was not ever in a relationship. Ever. At any point. I would never, it's not my character to mess with someone's relationship. I would just never do that. I was raised better than that. I'm not interested in doing that, and I never was. I think that there are situations where you can still kind of have like back and forth with someone, but even that was not the situation. Like, I can say, period, point blank, I was never with him when he was in a relationship with anybody.
Daí a Hailey falou um pouco do bullying que ela sofre dos fãs da Selena na internet, das coisas que eles falam pra ela. Dá só uma olhada no que ela disse.
Take me through how your husband's past relationship still to this day affects what people are saying about you and to you on the internet.
Well, I think like one of the things that we already just covered is the timeline of things, and like a lot of the hate and the perpetuation comes from like, oh, you stole him. And I guess maybe that just comes from like the fact that they wished that like he had ended up with someone else, and that's fine. Like, you can wish that all you want, but that's just not the case.
In December of 2020, a person posted a video encouraging haters to comment on your Instagram live with nasty messages announcing their allegiance for Justin's ex and just like fully harassing you on your live. What do you remember feeling on that Instagram live when you saw those comments start popping up?
I think there's like a certain like almost like numbness that you get where you're just like, you just know it's gonna happen. It still happens to this day. You're talking about something that was 2 years ago now, almost 3, and it's something that's, if I was to go live on Instagram right now, it would still be happening, probably less, which is nice, but you just reach a point where you're just like, you have to just like ignore it and be like, okay.
E ela também chega a explicar o que aconteceu no Red Carpet do Met Gala 2021. Pra quem não lembra, enquanto ela e o Justin estavam passando pelo Red Carpet, tinha uma multidão gritando o nome Selena, fazendo referência ao chip da Selena Gomez com o Justin Bieber, da época que eles estavam juntos. Dá uma olhada no que ela disse sobre isso.
Can you explain what happened when you were taking photos on the red carpet with your husband at the Met Gala in 2021?
Oh, and people were screaming? So, yes, I could hear everyone screaming. And again, I think there's a certain part of you that has a numbness of just like, I was like really surprised. I could kind of hear it, but I didn't know if that's what was really going on until I saw the video after. The whole thing of everybody being like, oh, he's trying to tell her not to cry, that was not true. It wasn't making me cry. Although it's a very disrespectful thing to do towards anybody, I felt like I had something in my eye. That's just what goes to show you how out of context things can be seen. When he's like trying to help me, I'm like, I feel like there's something in my eye. Do you see something in my eye? And I'm going like this, and he's like, no, you're good.
Daí a apresentadora pergunta pra ela o que ela gostaria de dizer pros fãs da Selena se eles estivessem com a cabeça e o coração abertos para poder ouvir. E olha o recado que ela mandou pros fãs da Selena Gomez.
To close out kind of the chapter of everything we were discussing, what would you say to her fans? Like, just coming from your heart, they're all sitting listening to you, having an open mind. Let's pretend they had it. What would you say to her fans?
I think I would say, the first thing I would say is, you're not obligated to like me. But I believe that no matter what, there can always be mutual respect between people. And to me, that means just that you don't have to say anything. you don't have to like me, but you don't have to say anything either. Because behind this person that you're looking at on a screen is a person with a brain and a heart and emotions and issues that I face, and so do you, and so does Alex, and so does every single person in this room. So you just, yeah, I think just mutual like respect and decency, and know that what you say can have impact, and know that, yeah, I guess that's what I would say.
E por último, uma revelação muito importante também. A Hailey revela que ela e a Selena já conversaram, inclusive depois do casamento dela com o Justin. Dá uma olhada nesse último clipe.
At any point did Justin, or literally anyone, ever ask his ex to help put an end to the harassment that her fans put you through?
No. What I will say is that she has been in this industry much longer than I have, and maybe there's something that she knows about, like, it wouldn't fix anything.
I think like a nice little heart on your TikTok could end it all.
The thing is too, is like, I think that like everyone is just trying to like create separation, even though there's clearly like not always separation. Mm-hmm. I have no expectation. I would never expect someone to do that for me. Like, she doesn't owe me anything. I don't owe, neither of us owe anybody anything except like respect. I respect her a lot, and I think that like there's just no expectations. If that was something that she felt was necessary, then that would be amazing. But I just, yeah, I respect her. There's no drama personally.
Have you guys ever spoken?
Yes.
And then like recently? No, I don't guess not recently, but like after your marriage?
Yes. So that's why I'm like, it's all respect, it's all love. Mm-hmm. That's also why I feel like, well, if everybody on our side knows what happened and we're good, and we could walk away from it with clarity and respect, then like,
right,
that's fine.
O que vocês acharam das coisas que a Hailey disse no podcast? Vocês acharam que dá pra mudar um pouco de opinião sobre ela? Ou não? Vocês acharam que foi pura manipulação? Deixem aí nos comentários que eu quero saber o que vocês acham. Eu vi que tinha muita gente na internet reclamando que a Hailey não tinha falado das controvérsias dela no passado e que ela só estava fazendo esse podcast para poder jogar uma cortina de fumaça no documentário que a Selena Gomez tem planejado para lançar aí nos próximos dias. O que vocês acham? Deixem aí nos comentários a opinião de vocês, eu quero saber. Galera, se vocês gostaram desse vídeo, deixa um like aí, deu muito trabalho para fazer, então se vocês puderem deixar o like aí, eu agradeço muito. E muito obrigado por assistirem até aqui. Até qualquer hora.